people watching the show when we were live, but whatever. It's WrestleZone back on the air. Thank you to BeLive, my subpar streaming service, which just put me in this position of losing people on one of the biggest nights of the year. And that just happened. So thank you guys for doing that to us. And I'm going to put on our YouTube thing here. John Clark, Women's Royal Rumble. What were your thoughts? That's where we left off.
So I liked the way they took the direction of the event, and another low entry in Bianca Belair winning from number 3. So both winners tonight were 3 or lower. Nevertheless, I thought it was a pretty good match. A lot of good storylines there. Rhea Ripley looked good. Charlotte looked good. The Shayna and Nia Jax stuff was pretty good also. I think we're all expecting Bianca and Sasha at WrestleMania, and I think it's going to absolutely kill and be a very, very, very good match. I could actually see it main eventing the first night, in all honesty. Bianca is that good, and I don't like that people seem to just crap on Bianca like she's not good enough yet. She clearly is. She has basically all of the records you can have in a women's rumble after just 3 years, and she's only been in it for 2.
Thank you to all the people that are getting back to with us here. I really, really appreciate that. You guys really flew right back onto the show. Thank you so much. It was just like a technical issue here. Michael Covington texting and saying Bianca Belair, the first African American to win the Rumble. And I think there's I'll say this, Pratik, it's something I hear about with the big shows that come up every year. There is a segment of the audience that want to see more diverse characters acknowledged in prime positions. It is something I saw on Twitter right away tonight. I'm just another white dude watching wrestling. I think, and I'm not putting the card on you here to play, but I mean, I saw people acknowledge this right away on social media tonight. How do you feel about Bianca Belair? A tearful response to her winning. She was crying, giving it to her mommy and daddy, saying, I'm going to bring the E.S.T to WrestleMania. This is a feel-good moment.
It gave the crowd a feel-good moment. She had a great showing. She had a great showing last year, too. I actually rewatched last year's Rumble, too, you got to see the evolution of her as well. It was a great, just well-paced Rumble. You had so many great showings. Naomi had a great showing as well. Naomi getting that, she's becoming like the Kofi Kingston on the women's side, having all these Rumble saves that there was that hair, weird hair spot, where they saved themselves.
Her and Naomi, they were hanging on the bottom rope, and Naomi somehow used Bianca's ponytail to
as it was. I love that spot. I
thought that was really creative. I was so worried that it would damage Bianca's hair, which is such a precious thing in her presentation.
But it adds to so much movement. I love it.
Those are risky moves, though. Imagine if she accidentally is eliminated, then what do you do? That's never happened before, but it's risky.
I mean, that is the drama of the Rumble, though, right? I do have to talk about this. Victoria returned in this match, and
we're at Circle. the pizza.
I lost it. I'm friendly with Lisa Marie Varon. I got to perform at her former restaurant in Chicago, the Squared Circle. I don't care. I am biased. I think she is one of the best female wrestlers of all time. I think she was before the women's evolution. You talk about someone who got the women from where we were with the highly sexualized presentation of them to legitimate matches, and she got out of there before that time really happened. But she set up the Michelle McCools, and she set up the Trish Stratuses. She was the William Regal of women's wrestling. She was the true journeyman who made people look great, and also had one of the most unique women's matches in WrestleMania history, hair versus hair, her and Molly Holly. Very underrated. She's a Hall of Famer. I lost it watching this. I thought she looked great. I thought the Widow's Peak was really cool that Peyton did one, and then she gave one to Peyton. I thought that was great. A lot of interactions between wrestlers from different generations here. Also, Jillian Hall returned. We had Tori Wilson return, but God damn it, Victoria got back in the mix and looked great. I don't care. I thought it was really, really cool. Shout out to Victoria, as well as Mickie James, who we have not seen her active in the ring in quite some time. And she came out in the ring and definitely had a very big presence there in the final stages of the show. I thought that was a great acknowledgement of her. And big shout out to GAA, to the GAW TV fame, Victoria, SoCal Val. If SoCal Val would have been in this match, we would have everyone from grown-ass women of wrestling. So definitely check out GAW TV on YouTube and their channel and their show. I'm so happy for them. I'm looking forward to their episode coming up here, talking about all of this coming together. I got to interview Lisa about a year and a half ago when she decided to finish her in-ring career. And she said, "Oh, I'm done in the ring, but if there's something that happens and I can come back for it," I'm paraphrasing. I can't remember the exact conversation, but she said, "I can't do this the way I want to do it. I want people to remember me for being a badass." She looked like a badass tonight, man. She really, really did. And it felt really, really special. The pose, everything. I don't care. I'm a mark for it. I thought it was the coolest thing of the night. Christian was cool, but I was like, I didn't expect this. It's the first time we've seen her in the ring in WWE for over 10 years. I really, really loved it. John Clark, you're feeling on the Women's Royal Rumble and those surprise returns.
I thought they were definitely interesting. I definitely feel like you were more excited for that than I was.
I'm biased. I just said it. I put it out there. I don't care.
Yeah, it was just like one of those nice surprises for me, but definitely still interesting to see all of this stuff happening. I'm definitely curious to see how a lot of these side stories build off of this. But I have to address one very important thing to me, and many of these comments, which I've been seeing, agree. Very, very absolute horrible booking of Alexa Bliss in this match. It was absolutely despicable to me. For what was likely the introduction of her transitioning into her fiendish character, but she didn't make it the whole way because she was eliminated. That part is okay with me, but the fact that she was only in there for like a minute and a half, horrible decision is what I think.
A lot of people chiming in with their take as well. And also thank you to everyone that I don't know what happened. We were usually go an hour straight live. We got 50 minutes in, we got cut off. So if you're just joining us and you're like, why are they talking about the men's? We just did. We did it in the first segment and then we got cut off. Normally I just go an hour straight. All right. So, and we will still announce the winner of our action figure contest that I've been teasing. All right. So we will get to that within the show. John, you have those two winners' names, I believe, selected over there. So that's pretty good.
They're in the host chat.
I may not have them in the host chat. I'm just letting you know that I may not have them. Yeah. Okay. I have one. Good.
You only have one?
I both. I know who the winners are. If you're watching right now, you might find out if you won. Let's get into other takes, just general reactions here. Brennan Roy saying, "I'm so happy Edge winning the men's Royal Rumble." I mean, that's what you're going for, right, Teak? Is they wanted a feel good thing going into WrestleMania. You want to ride a hero into the big mountaintop battle, right?
I think, it's great that Edge won, but I think the one thing with Big E's, I think we were expecting Big E to stay in the Rumble longer. I think that was the one thing. Like, I was expecting Final Four for Big E. That's the one thing with him. So like, there were a couple people where their Rumble appearances were a little shorter than I expected. Big E was one of them. Like John mentioned, Alexa Bliss. I was expecting her appearance to be a little longer. But I will say that the women's match, they did a better job working the generational match wrestlers together a little bit better than the men's. Like with the men's, you had like Kane in there for like a few minutes, and then like Priest eliminated him.
Christian looked great. Christian looked awesome. Great,
but I expected a little bit more interaction, like from some of those older wrestlers, Whereas with the women's, like you had more interactions between like Victoria and some of like the younger wrestlers as well.
And we had definitely some rising stars. Obviously, you've now taken Bianca Belair and said, we're going to tie the rocket to you and we're going to ride you into a big match at WrestleMania. Harold saying, glad to see Belair and Rhea Ripley, who made her return to WWE. You haven't seen her in about a month and a half or so, John? Like just about a month?
Yes, correct.
And Belair and Ripley being the last two here's a changing of the guard. Here is two new top female stars that we're going to go with. Harold, you're absolutely right. They are the future of the division. I think both these women are going to win those titles at some point. Where do you see it going for Belair? She wins the Women's Rumble. Who does she call out? Are we going to get this Bianca Belair Sasha match that we've already mentioned here tonight?
We are definitely getting Bianca and Sasha at WrestleMania, and I'm all for it. I think it's going to be a very interesting match, and I think this allows them on the Raw side to begin that transition of Charlotte turning her back on Asuka. We get Charlotte and Asuka on the Raw side. We get Bianca and Sasha on the SmackDown side. That is two excellent matches to me. And then, of course, we're going to have Nia and Shayna as the tag champs to do their own thing. I think the women's division is in good hands, and I think they're going in the correct direction all around.
A lot of people texting in here with their thoughts. Charlotte Flair, she got to the final three and got eliminated by these two new rising
And then
stars.
she laughed when she was out.
I thought that was cool. I thought the way she did it was just like, son of a bitch, I did this to somebody. You know what I mean? It was a very acknowledgement of like, you got me. Go get it. You know, you got me out. You better go do something. You know what I mean? That's the way I took it. And also, Charlotte had the whole thing with Lacey Evans coming out wearing her father's robe. Early on in the night, she's in the women's tag team match. She has the tag team titles with Asuka. Asuka's laid out. It's her versus these two women, and Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler. And Lacey interferes in that and costs her the title. Ric Flair gets involved. It's a whole messy storyline here. But I'll say Charlotte did her work tonight. She worked in that match in the opening and was in this women's Royal Rumble match until almost the end. You know, she came out with the first 5 or 6 people, you know, and she put on a lot of work tonight. I know people.
Bianca?
No, Charlotte Flair.
Charlotte was 14.
I mean, still, she worked like over an hour in the ring tonight, you know, in like 2 different matches with a lot of different storyline things. Long night. I would say that she's probably the MVP of this Royal Rumble. And the value in her is what she did for the other people that won that match and how it builds up value from them. Charlotte will always be the top tier. I will say this. There are people that hate Charlotte. They just think that she gets it because she's Ric Flair's daughter. That is gone a long, long time ago. Let me put this to you guys. She's one of the best wrestlers in the world, men or women. All right. She's one of the best. All right. And she doesn't, she wants to be a heel and they're putting in her babyface role and there's some booking issues with her. But when the bell's on and you have these big match performances, Charlotte does not let you down. Like she like if you give her the ball in a big pay-per-view match, 9 times out of 10, she's scoring, or she's at least getting you to the goal line, you know? So that's my take here. But absolutely, the women's match was way better than the men's. Men's match was still really, really fun. I want my man DB. I'm wearing my fan hat here going into WrestleMania. Other people with different takes here. Daniel Miller saying, Charlotte isn't worthy of isn't Mania worthy. Tomorrow night we're going back to being uncreative.
Okay, this is the same guy that when we were on Wednesday night talking about NXT and AEW, he was shitting on Raw.
Love you, Danny. Love you, Danny. But you're wrong, Danny. All right, and that's another thing for you guys watching the chat or watching the show for the first time, getting your comments on screen. I have no problem going to Kembe Mutombo on your dunks here. Okay, I have no problem going. No. All right. So more of your takes here on everything. We got a pretty clear picture here of WrestleMania in a way. You know, Teak, about a month ago, we were talking about Brock Lesnar in a big WrestleMania match. Yeah. We were talking about Keith Lee in a big WrestleMania match. Maybe a triple threat with those two guys and Drew McIntyre. There's still a distinct possibility of that happening here. No Keith Lee on the show because of COVID exposure. No Brock.
They did a good job making do without Keith Lee, and then obviously we had the Goldberg McIntyre thing. That was fine. I had this fear when they started with the Goldberg McIntyre thing that McIntyre's going to lose and he's going to end up in the Rumble. Like I was thinking that was going to happen. So I'm glad that they kept the belt on McIntyre because
let's get to that. How they opened the night was probably the most controversial match of the night. You know, going into this, John, we had several shows on the podcast this week talking about quote unquote nightmare scenarios. Teak, you may have seen these floating around that Goldberg was going to take the belt off Drew McIntyre and Goldberg was going to come back at 54 years old, still looking like a chiseled masterpiece, by the way. But he wore shorts. How about that? Came out, had 10 guys around him, and was wearing shorts. I don't know why he wasn't wearing wrestling tights. He still got that.
Is that the first time he's worn shorts?
No, I think maybe he's worn like.
He did it when they were over in Saudi Arabia, I believe.
Yeah. Like he's worn like longer cut. Wrestling tights
for sure.
But he was wearing like workout shorts. Like they had his barbed wire logo on the butt or something like that. But I was like, why do you got workout shorts, dude? like it was like something like that. You know, like what's the old thing, the old played out meme? What are those? You know, like that type of thing. So they work this match. It's short. It's nice and sweet. It's Goldberg. It's everything super quick and a lot of pauses. and Drew McIntyre playing the game and getting speared through the barrier on the outside, something that Goldberg told his wife he wouldn't do again after WrestleMania 33. He did. He nearly got his ear ripped off at WrestleMania 33 doing that against Brock. So here he is doing it against Drew, and he did not get his ear ripped off. But he nearly got his head kicked off with several claymores in this match. A jackhammer that looked pretty freaking dangerous when Goldberg did it. Goldberg's still strong, still has a hell of a spear. And Drew McIntyre kicked out of several of them, and then Claymore ends it. This is short and sweet. This isn't. This was done the right way. It opened the show. Once I heard about 20 minutes before the main card was going to start that they would open with this match, I was like, smart decision. And that bell isn't leaving Drew's hands. This was Goldberg came in and did the thing to get Drew ready for WrestleMania and remind people that he's a big deal. And the casual fans that come in around WrestleMania time, John Clark, they know Goldberg. Maybe they're like, Drew McIntyre is that tall Scottish guy. Now he's that tall Scottish guy who kicked Goldberg's ass. So this is a win for the hardcore fan and a reintroduction, if you will, to the casual fan. You're not feeling it. You thought the belt should have went off Drew.
This was not a good start to the show for me. I've been saying the past couple of weeks, and you obviously have heard that I have been wanting to get the title off of Drew. They finally did when Orton won, but then Drew won it right back.
John. You failed.
I had all of my chips on the table, and I really was hoping that Goldberg was going to win this. And I thought at some point he was going to win this match when he hit that third jackhammer after the two spears. I thought that he for sure had this one, and I was just really hoping that was the case. And then as the match, it wasn't a long match, but as the match went on, I kind of got the idea that was not going to happen. But they were both really putting the moves on each other, which really made me thought that we might have gotten the Miz out there to cash in, and that was at that point what I was hoping to see. And then I did not see that, and then McIntyre won, and then I said, well, and I had posted in our WrestleZone group chat, I can't wait to be live on hand in Tampa to give Drew McIntyre the absolute biggest boost possible when he drops the championship.
I think you're gonna be lonely in that
because he is absolutely dropping this championship at WrestleMania. People are saying he's finally going to get his WrestleMania moment this year. He is absolutely dropping this title to, I think, The Fiend, and I will be happy to see that.
Let's see where that goes here. Teak, I want to hear your take on this. I'm surprised. We're 17 minutes into segment 2 of the show. We were supposed to have, we would have been 30 minutes into the show. If Be Live wasn't Be Live, but I was expecting some AEW comparison, right? Because hardcore fans have to compare it to AEW. Kyle Dufflin says, I usually dump all over WWE. So he has to regrettably, you've seen this now?
He's regretting.
Don't we get this with all the pay-per-views in the last 6 or 7 months? People saying Raw sucks, SmackDown. I like SmackDown, but it's on Friday, so I don't pay attention to it.
But the pay-per-views are good. All right, so we get, Network is good, Raw bad. All right, but you have to add in that last sentence.
I mean, it's not WWE. It's good. It's my favorite wrestler is good, or it's don't catch me saying I like WWE. It's like it's saying you like Disney or something like that.
But you have to add in that last sentence and make sure that But AEW is still the better product.
That type of thing. Oh, don't worry. I had a Zoom watch along with friends who were doing the same thing. Love you, boys. He goes, Kyle Dufflin says, I usually dump over WWE, but they did well tonight. They did well.
Love that reluctance.
Not a perfect show, but enjoyable. It's this regrettable thing. And then here he goes with, but AEW is still a better product, but this was a step forward. Kyle, you got to watch more WWE, buddy. You got to watch more WWE. You got to check out more shows. I highly suggest you watch Hell in a Cell. Survivor Series this year were great shows. I agree with it. I mean, that's not a bad sentiment. We're Raw. I mean, sometimes for you, John, you and I cover Raw, and sometimes it's like, this is a 3-hour show that should be 2 hours.
You got the comment section all fired up now.
I don't care. I'm ready for it, man. I'm ready for it. I'm ready for it. A lot of people with different takes here. I don't think AEW sucks. It doesn't suck. It's fine. I don't know why you have to make this comparison. It's unreasonable. It's like, this is like saying I want to compare Seinfeld to Star Wars or something like that. It's just like, come on, get out of here. We're talking WWE, one of the biggest nights of the year, but I gotta say, I gotta get my AEW thing in there. Stop it. These are billionaires. All right, you can like both. they got to earn your opinion or my opinion or all fans' opinions. Everyone that's in this picture that's around me, that's here in the Thunder Zone.
Is that your Thunder Zone?
We're in the Thunder Zone right now.
Well, we've said plenty of times people are bound to pick a side, and that's okay, but you don't really have to get so. I mean, and people are passionate about it. I get that, but it's more of knocking down the other side of the spectrum is something that we try to stay away from if we can.
Yeah, it's okay. We were expecting it, guys, and I was expecting some people to jump on this thing here. And it's fine here.
I mean, it makes more sense if there was like something like their WWE counter program to like an AEW event or something, but no, there was no AEW tonight. So
they're going to do that in the future. Don't worry about it.
I know. Oh, no, we know it's coming.
I've heard it's some. Oh, you think things are changing on Wednesdays? Keep an eye on WrestleZone in the next week and a half. I would just like to tell you that. We don't know everything, but keep an eye on things. Wednesday is still going to be interesting for quite a while here. So getting into your other thoughts here on Royal Rumble. You didn't like Drew McIntyre. Cheek, Drew McIntyre, how do you feel about him going into WrestleMania with the title right now?
I mean, I had a thought when...
I mean, if he gets there, because we got a couple more...
Still got pay-per-views. I mean, I still thought when Orton won it from McIntyre for that brief window, I was like, okay, they're taking it off Drew so that he can get a WrestleMania like redemption. That's what I thought they were going to do because he still hasn't won with a real crowd. So I thought they were going to do that. But it is one of those things where why put it on Orton for like, it doesn't make sense to put it on him for like, what was it, like a week or something?
2 weeks.
2 weeks. That I don't see wins and losses really need to matter. In 2 weeks with a title, it makes no sense. Like when John Cena when he tied Ric Flair for his win, he literally had it for 2 weeks, or like it was till the next pay-per-view, which was only like a few weeks away. I think that when you win a title like that,
now you can do that. He comes back to break Ric Flair's record thing, and they can, they have that in the back of their mind. That's there, and there's fans are going to lose their minds if he does it.
I don't think he's going to.
Like a vacant title match, and like whoever wins officially breaks the record. Yeah, I mean, I guess you could do that. I don't think Orton needs 2 more, if I'm not mistaken.
I believe so. I think
14. Yeah.
He's at 14, yeah. So he'd have to quickly lose it, drop it. Let me win it, and then I'll vacate it, and then I can get it back on the same night. Let's completely devalue the belt in the process. Yeah. So definitely different people with their takes here.
Also, real quick, shout out to Goldberg for not busting his head open before the start of the match.
Yes. Thank you, Goldberg, for not concussing yourself before the match. Wacky Warrior. I love that screen name. He loved the show. He gave it a 9.7 out of 10. All right. He thought the women's was better. And that seems to be the consensus, right? The women's had a better Rumble match here. Let's get into other highlights on the card. Sasha Banks versus Carmella. People have said Carmella is not a great wrestler, and that her first run as Mela Money was not great, but she got this new reboot. Is this kind of like luxurious character, the untouchable one, and she has this silhouette entrance, and she has Reginald, her sommelier, and she's been doing this with Sasha Banks now for a couple months. I think some people have been down on SmackDown. Most people are thumbs up on a lot of things on SmackDown, but I've seen a lot of fans kind of teeter their thumbs down on Carmella as a title contender again. And they didn't like when she had the belt before, and this new heel version of her, they don't like this, but god damn, she had a hell of a match here with Sasha Banks. I thought they did a really, really good job. I thought Carmella nearly crushed her own face doing a suicide dive outside the ring. And you can see Sasha Banks, if you go back and look at some GIFs online, you can Sasha checking on the back, giving her the old pat. You there? And she tapped out here. A lot of times when you see someone tap out on a match, you think, wow, man, that's the most humbling way to lose a match, right? You're saying the other person's better. But I didn't get that case. I thought Sasha gave her hell, and Sasha's one of the best wrestlers in the world. Carmella doesn't have enough to beat Sasha. This was a hard-fought match. Champion looked strong. Going into WrestleMania season. That's what I think we got here. Doesn't mean you have that belt going into Mania, by the way, because we have 2 big pay-per-views before we get there. What did you think of this one, John?
I thought it was a pretty good match. I think Carmella and Banks is the perfect, shall I say, holdover feud that they've been doing until the one with Bianca likely starts. The part that I think we're going to likely see, because we all know we're only 3 weeks away from Elimination Chamber. That's not a lot of time to build. We have 3 Raws, 3 SmackDowns until that event. I do think that we're going to see Sasha successfully defend this title inside of the chamber to make her look even better to go against Bianca at WrestleMania. And the reason I say that is because there's not really anybody else on SmackDown that's a viable threat to be a one-on-one match. So I think a chamber match is perfect for that. I think it will feature Carmella, so I don't think we've seen the end of this yet. But all in all, tonight, I thought it was a very well put together match. A very good match there to be put in between, the beginning and the Rumble. It was a good pace there. And all in all, I don't think you really can complain too much about the way that both of these superstars look tonight.
Let's get into this. This was the featured title match. I think really, once you saw Goldberg and Drew open the show, I didn't think there was going to be a title change there. I was okay with it. It did its job. It was a bang opener. Goldberg, Drew, but a very competitive match. People have said that there's no way Kevin Owens was going to get this belt off of Roman Reigns in a last man standing match. This Roman Reigns, this monster dominator, right, Teak? This man who is filled on his own hubris. His opinion of himself is bigger than the Thunderdome itself.
He's the head of the table.
He's the head of the table. And they brawled. I think 90% of this match took place outside of the ring. Like 95. They were barely in the ring, right, John?
Correct.
And they fought up into the rafters of the Thunderdome, and they threw him off the top rafter through two tables. And then he stumbled away, and he's walking away for what feels like a mile.
It was a long walk.
It was a long walk, and he's holding himself up. Kevin Owens is holding himself up, and he's holding himself up, and then bam, gets hit by a golf cart driven by Kevin Owens. By Roman Reigns
for the golf cart attack backstage.
He somehow is able to break the 10 count after getting hit by a golf cart that blasts out the plexiglass. And a lot of people definitely making comparisons to AEW on that because they did a thing on a golf cart like 6 months ago or whatever. And then Kevin Owens somehow gets out of this and lifts a forklift. Jumps off a forklift being shot by a drone. There's a camera shot of a drone filming this above him and plows through Roman Reigns and then gets thrown through an LED board and then gets somehow he has handcuffs. He's going to handcuff him and beat him down. And that'll be the way he keeps him down, is he physically can't stand up. They're going to go the cheap way. He can't keep him down. So I'll chain you to the ground. Right. And then something kind of went off the rails, right, Cheek? There was some issue with the handcuffs at the end.
A little bit of a botch there with with Heyman. I mean, I think their handcuffs in the Royal Rumble is a nostalgia trip going back to Mankind and the I Quit match. So I think it's cool that they tried something, but yeah, that botch was just oof. It didn't.
You know what? It did take away from the ending of the match, and they did go through so much to get there. And I feel bad because they beat the crap out of each other.
He couldn't unlock it. And then, so the ref's counting. He's up to 6, and he just stops counting because they knew Heyman. Here's where I thought they could have
solved the way he was chained, like he couldn't stand up. So he's like chained to like a foundational pillar to the entrance.
They should have just
so like he can't. Yeah,
but it was something where he couldn't fully stand up if he wanted to.
Absolutely, yeah. And they should have just gave Heyman bolt cutters instead of the key to the handcuffs. It would have made more sense and it would have been quicker.
Oh man, old wrestling handcuffs with that long chain and the weird placement of the key. Who has handcuffs that are like this long?
And how did Heyman get
brother's a cop. I don't think I would ever want him to have handcuffs that have like a foot of chain,
We don't even know how Heyman got the key. Owens had the key and then Heyman gets it.
Like the ring of key.
Yeah, it was definitely a botched ending, but I feel bad for them because they just beat the crap out of each other and did so many fun, hardcore things in that match.
I think this is a good end to that feud. Would you agree that it's over now?
It needs to be, so. And Kevin Owens is still a star, and the way he got choked out. I think there was definitely something where when he got choked out, I was like, is that what they wanted to do? Or was that an audible that was kind of like called on the spot? You never know. And he got put into the sleeper, and Kevin Owens just gave this guy hell and got hit by a chair, got thrown off a roof, got hit by a golf cart. And Roman Reigns, I'll say this, I thought they were going to go the chicken shiz heel way with him, right, Teak? But he's a mean man, but he's a bad man, right?
He's a badass. I always love brawling in the audience. It is a little weird when they're brawling into the Thunderdome audience, but they made it look good. I always love Kevin Owens when he's like mid-match and he's yelling at the opponent. I think he said something like, let's see your people, huh? He just throws Roman into the LED boards. I love that like little dialogue back and forth. I think that stuff's great. It was a fun match, despite the botch.
Yeah, and where do they go from here? I mean, what does Kevin Owens do? Does Kevin Owens? We know Roman Reigns is gonna have a big match at WrestleMania, but I want to know. Kevin Owens has been a big featured star on SmackDown, the most watched wrestling show in wrestling, right, John? It's over 2.5 million people every single week, right? Exponentially more on social platforms and around the world. Kevin Owens has been the top babyface on that show. He's been the top hero on that show. And he's won at the title 3 times in the last 3 months, had the most watched wrestling match of the year in terms of actual viewers. He had it on Fox TV in a cage match with Roman Reigns. And he can't get that title off Roman Reigns. What do you do with him going into WrestleMania? He's going to have something significant at the show.
I don't know. It's interesting because, I mean, you have Big E as champion, so if you really wanted to do that, you could. I just don't think they're going to do that right now. So now you got to think, well, what do they do? Do they maybe pair him with somebody again and try to, go after the tag titles with Rude and Ziggler?
I think you got to keep him with singles.
He has.
I think he needs a singles program but not like he doesn't need to work for like a mid card belt. I think he just needs he
needs a grudge.
And that's the thing. But it's not going to be Rollins. That feud has been settled. Rollins is back now. So I mean, do we have possibly Strowman? I mean, maybe Strowman.
Vernon's feeling this.
Strowman is heel or face. He's just like
who knows at this point. Braun Strowman was back. That big boy made a dent in the Rumble. Vernon texting you saying, "No, it's not over. Redemption for KO.
He's had his chance 3 times."
We also have Vilius. I hope I'm saying your name, Vilius. I'm sorry if I'm saying it wrong. Vilius Vinucus. Here's the thing. I'll say this. As someone with a phonetic name, I can appreciate this. Botchamania ending for KO versus Reigns. Yeah, I bet you Matthew will have that in his next video for sure. And if you guys can tag him in the comments, maybe he'll put me in one too. You're watching Botchamania. There we go. I gave him a little clip. He can use it. Great guy. If you've ever met him, a very, very funny guy. Had one of the best StarCast shows I ever saw. Edge wins. People just feeling the Edge win heel. Heel Big E against KO for the IC title. DJ, that's not happening. People love Big E right now. I don't think they're going to want to boo him at this year's.
Maybe pair him up with. I know you said don't do tag, but maybe pair him up with Zayn again.
That's
Zayn.
What I was thinking.
They've done Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens against each other so many
together. Like just put them in a tag. I still think.
Yeah. I don't know. I think Kevin Owens got to have something to fight against. He's got to fight for the right reasons, and he's been a solid baby face that people.
So I guess you got Cesaro and Nakamura there too. Then you could work them with.
And the thing is, they were over going into this.
Daniel Bryan's there too for the taking.
Yeah,
true. So maybe we have some multi-man match with those guys. I'm thinking there's a multi-man match on one of those nights.
There always is.
Shore up a bunch of people that are upper mid-card guys.
Ladder
match. There we go.
With Big E in it for a certain championship.
I think it's a possibility. It's definitely a possibility here. People ask me who got the most eliminations. I'm not exactly sure.
What match are you referring to? For the women, it was Rhea Ripley.
And we don't know the one for the men just yet.
I will tell you in about a couple seconds.
Okay. Definitely a lot of people texting here with different takes here. A lot of people watching the show on YouTube. If you haven't done that already, definitely give us a like on there. Obviously, we have a lot of people following the show on Facebook.
Three-way tie. Big E, Damian Priest, and Braun Strowman each had 4.
That could lead to something here. Jay Feliciano, a man who knows a thing or two about the WWE, a man who has sprayed down the body of Roman Reigns, saying it's time for KO and Sami to fulfill their tag team best friends dream. All right, so Atik, you're not.
They haven't won the title yet. With they've just been a tag team.
No, they haven't. It would definitely be weird, but it just seems like Sami's going in such a different direction. Sami had a great showing in the Royal Rumble tonight here too. As much as I think, I'm disappointed that Daniel Bryan didn't win, he made a dent. He had a good, strong presence in the match. They did a good job in the sense of showing off a lot of different people and having a bunch of fun moments and setting up some fun things. Overall, this is a thumbs up WrestleMania, but there are some soft spots that were in the show. The ending on the Reigns Kevin Owens match, I don't blame anyone else, but what happened with those handcuffs? You know what I mean? You built this up, and we wanted maybe a new guy who's never won the Rumble to win it before. All right, so I don't feel it's enough to make this a solid thumbs down show. On the 1 to 10 scale, let's give that hard number. Pratik, you are the guest.
I'm
1 to 10 on Royal Rumble 2021.
I'm gonna go 7.5 out of 10.
7. Oh, you went 7.5 10. 7.5 out of 10. You got to understand that is the signature rating of one Mr. John Clark. All right. And he takes a little note there from American Idol. 7.5 dog. All right. You got to throw a dog, a DAWG.
Oh.
All right. All right. So bark out to the boys here. All right. This is 7.5 dog.
And you know what that 0.5 it's for? It's for Booker T's camouflage outfit during the musical performance.
Oh, yeah. Do we even include that musical number? Bad Bunny almost getting into the Rumble?
No.
I mean, it was a storyline, so that's why it's a part.
They're going to do, watch, they're going to do something with that at WrestleMania. That'll be their big celebrity tie-in thing is Bad Bunny will come.
Oh, you got to have one.
Bad Bunny, Bunny in the Bank, right? They're going to do something like that. And
I've seen flying squirrels, but not flying bunnies.
Yes.
When Cole said that, Joe and Cole lost their crap for like 2 minutes. What
was the exact line here again?
Cole said when he jumped off on Miz and Morrison, he said, "I've seen flying squirrels before, but never flying bunnies." And they all lost it except Graves.
Who was that? Was that a Lawler line or a Graves line?
That was a Cole line.
Oh, somebody fed him that line. Somebody said that backstage. Someone gave him that line for sure. Hey, give it to Bad Bunny. If the guy's a wrestling fan, he got to go out there and do something cool. You got to leap on two wrestlers, right?
Yeah, there was some interview where he's like, "I'm the biggest." Like he wanted. Clearly, this is a guy who's a huge fan. He wanted to do something off the top rope.
And he also, it's not like he's a small star. That guy's a huge star. He was trending number 2 on Twitter tonight, and Royal Rumble's number 1. And so, and I mean, you want to talk about Latin America? He is up there, like in terms of like the popularity of a Justin Bieber. Yeah, dude, top of the chart pop hits with this guy. So, I mean, kudos to WWE. You pulled in a big name here. So let's talk about it here. You're giving it a what?
8 out of 10 for me.
An 8 out of 10. An 8 out of 10. That is a strong rating.
What about you?
What do I think? Let's see. Before I say what I think, let's see what some of the fans think. Craig Backlund giving it a 9.0. People like the return of G.I. Bro. They were feeling Booker T and the G.I. Bro gear. DJ did not like it. He gives it a 3.2. DJ, I'm surprised by that. I give this show, and this is not because Pratik gave it this rating, but I was not far off from that. I give this a solid 7.6. 3. You guys had higher opinions of it. I'm still pumped for WrestleMania. I think there's plenty of things on the road to WrestleMania that sometimes you just can't give on Royal Rumble because we are conditioned from kids to think Royal Rumble, then WrestleMania happens. But guess what they've been doing for the last 15 or 16 years? They've been getting you into their mode of things. In the last 6 years, they've been getting you into their subscription service, and you pay for the subscription service, and you ride it out until maybe sometime after WrestleMania, and then you stop, then you get back on. Right, Teak? You're a more casual fan, right? This is the time of year where I'll bump into you at comedy shows, and you ask me, "Do you see that on Raw?" And then I ask you what happened in the summer, and you're like, I stopped watching it for
Yeah, like this is the time you're going to see a lot of people jumping back in. So yeah, I thought for the casual I think the casual fan will enjoy this. It's one of those things where they definitely were trying to not give in to people's expectations. Like they were trying to swerve us a little bit, but I think WWE
definitely with that ending with Edge, they did that, right? And I see a lot of people, majority of people giving this good ratings. Some people giving it 2. Jackson Jones is a 2 out of 10. I didn't think it was that bad. But I definitely think this is like an above average show, and considering the track that they've had with pay-per-views. Now, mind you, Raw sometimes feels too long. SmackDown delivers almost every single week. NXT is a great show. I think some people just want the coolest thing in wrestling right now, cooler than any of these wrestlers coming back, is bitching about WWE not doing exactly what you want it to do. And how come they don't listen to me and my friends on Twitter, right? And there's nothing wrong with that. Like there's a lot of millions of people having those opinions on it. But there's no nightmare scenarios here. There was no Goldberg winning the title off Drew McIntyre. There was no, hey, Charlotte, who's won a whole lot, is going to win again. You know, those things that you would really no, they didn't do that. Now, did they go with Daniel Bryan winning the Rumble or a new guy like Big E? No. But did they go for a feel-good ending? Yeah, I don't think you like want to. This guy was never supposed to wrestle again. And I mean, he was never supposed to have a quality of life after that injury. And Edge wins this. Bianca Belair is made into a huge superstar. She is going to have, I said this, John, I've been saying it for a long time. I said at the beginning of 2020, I thought she was going to have a big 2020. But I feel confident, and I definitely feel it now. She's not leaving WrestleMania without a belt. She's coming. She's leaving with hardware.
She is having success in the main roster, just like Alexa Bliss did after she came up from NXT. Belair is doing the same thing.
Yeah, and I think she is going to have a show-stealing performance. There are things that she does when they did that obstacle course thing. She's not even in the ring with somebody else. See, it's just physical personality,
Otis,
charisma, and deadlifted Otis, and was dunking basketballs and doing all these different things, and the vignettes and the look and the presence and her dynamic to be able to have. I think we haven't seen it yet. We haven't even seen the ceiling of what she can do yet. And what we're seeing already, it just makes you want to see more. She's never out there, and we don't want to see more. Edge is having some great things at his age with his injuries. He shouldn't be able to do what he's doing. But if he's going to be a feature player and you're going to do it this way, this is a cool way to do it. This is a feel-good ending during a very feel-bad time. I understand what they're going for. Thumbs up on the Royal Rumble. Thumbs up on what they're doing here. Nishad Joa wants Rosenberg versus Goldberg. Peter Rosenberg, one of the contributors to WWE broadcast, he won the 24/7 championship. Hot 97's very own here. It's interesting, Nishad, that you're on screen right now. It's interesting you're on screen, and I want to talk about this here. Because Nishad, you did everything you were supposed to do that I've been telling the fans to do for a couple of weeks right now. And that was very simply follow us on Twitter, retweet the video I put out this weekend about these prizes that I've alluded to you that no one else outside of this podcast or show knew about unless they follow us on Twitter. And a lot of people do that. But you did what you were supposed to do. And you are going to bring this action figure home. And maybe there's a young wrestling fan in your world that you know that will enjoy this. Or maybe you just put this up on the shelf. Maybe you're one of those box fans. But Nishad Jawah, you retweeted the video. You gave us a comment about who you thought was going to win the Royal Rumble. Even if you weren't right, you're still a winner, baby.
Winner number one.
Winner number one. You are winner number one. Now, John Clark, let's check and see who is winner number two. Who brings home the big dog, Roman Reigns? He's going to be the head of your table. You're going to bring him home. It's going to be like Chucky, right? It's going to be like Pratik. I'm going to send this doll to someone, and it's not a doll; it's an action figure.
The random generator has spoken.
Yes, and we pulled the numbers is a random number based on who shared the video on Facebook. Luke Gotziart, who watches the show on Facebook. Luke Gotziart, you're bringing home Roman Reigns. Here's how you guys do it. If you haven't done it, DM us on Twitter or DM us on Facebook. Reach out to me if you need to as well. We will ship these out to you guys within the week. Of course, Luke, you win Roman Reigns. Nishad, thank you so much. You win Daniel Bryan. Thank you guys, sir. I've been teasing this for weeks, and this is a pretty cool contest. We should do another contest before WrestleMania. So that's pretty cool. Thank you guys for that. I dropped it. Don't worry, it didn't break. It's in my room for weeks. We're going into WrestleMania tomorrow. Are we excited to watch Monday Night Raw? Are we excited to watch a 3-hour Monday Night Raw coming off this show? Tell me how you feel about that.
You go ahead.
Critique?
I'll watch the highlights. I think
we need to get the opinion of the casuals here because they're the ones that are going to boost the ratings. So, are you going to be watching or not?
I'm more into SmackDown right now, to be honest.
That's not bad. Yeah,
but I am curious.
Well, asking that question just because we have to watch it every week, right? I always want to know. Casual fan comes in and out what they think.
You know what I want to watch Raw for? I want to see what happens with that 24/7 title. That's what I want.
Are you serious? Like you'll watch for that?
I mean, I will say I thought it was kind of cool that they had that moment in the middle of the women's match just to have the 24/7 title. Like I thought it was cute. It was adorable. So we'll see what happens.
Well, I'm happy Vernon didn't win the action figure. Vernon, I believe you were in the contest. Vernon saying, if I won Roman Reigns figure, I would burn it. I don't want you doing that. Yeah.
We have Luke appreciating here. He says, sounds good. Thank you in the comments. So.
All right. Well, thank you, Luke. Congratulations to you. I like that people who watched the show a lot won this contest and paid attention to us on our things here. I love this adorable picture of you with what looks like your grandparents. It's pretty sweet. And very rare Raw is my favorite tweet. I haven't heard that in a while. I do think this will add a level of interest into Monday Night Raw this week. I do think you'll see a peak, bump up in the rating. But I do agree with you. SmackDown is just a smooth show every time.
Because I think we'll get Edge. So
yeah, and that's the thing is wherever Edge can do his promo, that's gonna be great.
And maybe we'll find out more about that tomorrow.
Social media.
Yeah, or maybe they do it on social media too, right? In this day and age, right? And the thing is,
I just hope they don't overload that. I think there's a lot of let's spoil it on social media. I think we do.
Well, what I meant was they're going to say, watch Raw tonight to see Edge, not him actually announcing it on there, but just an advertisement type thing.
Yeah, true. But I does this, John, you're going down to WrestleMania. You're making the trip down to Tampa. Under the circumstances, this will be a very interesting and intriguing WrestleMania just for the premise of it being the first show back in front of fans and something
crazy.
And then we're going to go back to the Thunderdome thing, and they're going to do this for one weekend and see how it works and see if they can do this in some way in other stadiums, maybe. But here's where we are. Is the attraction of Edge in a big title match something for you? Is Bianca Belair an attraction for you? Are other things that were teased tonight in the Rumble that could play out in the next few months an attraction for you going into WrestleMania?
Absolutely, and I think we definitely want to pay attention because, look, there is a huge question mark right now around Drew McIntyre. Where do we go with that? I mean, we still have Orton and Fiend in a program. We still have Orton and Edge in a program. What about McIntyre? He's the champion. What does he do?
Speaking of WrestleMania, good comment here from Joe. Thank you, Joe. He says, good luck getting tickets. No information on tonight's Royal Rumble broadcast about tickets going on sale, though WWE has said many, many times tickets will be on sale for their residency 2 nights of WrestleMania at Raymond James Stadium.
I'll get them, dog.
You're going to get them, dog. You're going for the 7.5s, dog? You can spend
I'm going to be on the post show live from my seat showing you the view.
Oh, no. Yeah, we got to do that. That'll be fun, right? We'll definitely have you. We'll definitely have you join the stream here from Raymond James. So it's an interesting scenario. 2 nights of WrestleMania 2. The reported number is somewhere between 25 and 30,000 fans is what we've heard. Is what WWE is going for, though they have not confirmed the exact number or capacity.
Are these actual fans, or are they those beefed up projection numbers?
No, this will be. There could be a mixture of both.
Yeah,
but we're looking at 20,000 live fans present for the show. It's an interesting scenario because very rarely does WWE get to run a WrestleMania the same year as NFL runs the same venue or same town.
Yeah.
And very rarely does the NFL even want that. Usually WWE goes around North America. They look for where the new football stadium is being built. They play the WrestleMania there first, and then the next year the NFL comes. And that tends to be the thing here. That's the math if you're looking for where WrestleMania is going to be. But now we know where WrestleMania is going to be for the next 3 years. And Tampa Bay was supposed to get a Mania. They get one now. Definitely going to be a challenging scenario. I hope everyone stays safe, and hopefully enough people are vaccinated that the level of risk is mitigated, hopefully by that time in April. But we'll see how things go. Pray for the best, and our thanks as well to the first responders. I'll say this. I haven't heard WWE say it, but I hope a lot of first responders get access to tickets at this event. The NFL is doing that. I think that's something WWE should follow. I think any major sporting event or entertainment venue, the first people that should be allowed to come back are the people that helped us get back. And that should be nurses and doctors. I don't think it's a political statement at all. I think whoever got vaccinated first and is on the front lines of this thing that we're in should be able to get it. And those are the wrestling fans I want to see. I would love to see a bunch of nurses fanning themselves in the front row when Drew McIntyre comes out and blows a kiss in their direction, right? I would love to see a bunch of people dance when Bianca Belair comes out who are out there getting people vaccine and all those different things. And let's just remember, I'm less judgmental of things, maybe because we're getting these things during a time where we're not getting a lot of other things. So kudos to WWE for trying to do this as safely as they can. Someone saying they need WrestleMania back in Vegas. I agree. WrestleMania in Vegas would be a great idea, Ferguson. Teak, if they want to get this comedy album that you put out, that is absolutely fantastic. As I've mentioned, I've had a couple fans of WrestleZone mention they listened to it and loved it. And I've had a couple of messages from the WrestleZone boys saying they really enjoyed it. Where can they get it?
Yeah, they can go through my website, actually. So Prateek Comedy, that's PRATEEK comedy.com. On the homepage is the poster, artwork done by Chris Santiago, a great Chicago comedian, and it'll take you straight to my DistroKid page that'll have every platform available. You can get on Amazon, iTunes. If you want to search on Amazon and iTunes for it, cool. But if you go on prateekcomedy.com, that'll take you straight to the album. It's a great album to check out. There is some wrestling material on there as well, so you guys might enjoy that stuff. But yeah, check the album out. And I'm also at Prateek Comedy on Instagram and Facebook, and at the Daily Prateek on Twitter.
John Clark, I know you're on news duty. It was a busy Sunday for you. You started this Sunday.
I was pulling news during the Rumble, man.
Yeah. We had the Royal Rumble earlier today. This is the third and final Royal Rumble. We will have a new silly video game concept that we'll do in the future. But definitely go and check it out. A lot of fun in there. A very surprising winner that I was very, very happy. And if you're a fan of old school wrestling, I think you'll even still be happy about this. We took fast food mascots. We put them in a ring, Prateek, and then we said a bunch of bad punny jokes for about 30 minutes. Definitely go check it out. It's on YouTube and Facebook right now. For the people on the podcast side of things, we will not put the Royal Rumble up there because it's just audio and you need the visual gag of it. So definitely come and check us out here. But if you haven't and you just watch the show on YouTube or Facebook or anything, subscribe to the podcast. That we have 4 to 5 episodes of WrestleZone wrap up every week. We have the SmackDown Double Down. We have your AEW Focus Show, two Dynamite Dudes with Attitudes. Plus, we have Meet the Wrestler, introducing you to new independent wrestlers coming up in this very challenging time. We have exclusive interviews. We just did one with IRS, Matt Cardona, formerly known as Zack Ryder, Ted DiBiase, tons of audio, almost an infinite level of free audio for you to stream on demand wherever you are for free, no Patreon, no paywall. All right, right now on Apple, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. Or if there's an app that we should be on, let us know about it. I'll try and get us on it. Thank you so much. This is a big day of the year. We did have a technical issue, and I was hoping to, John Clark, big pay-per-view night. I want a big audience, right? And we get that little bump up, 15 minutes in the show. I'm thinking like, oh, man, we just, we're this live audience. We lose them, right, Teak? And I
feel like you had a good retention.
Oh, no, but then I fired up, and I'm just looking at all these wonderful guys that watch the show all the time, sharing the link, getting a bunch of people back in here. I know I just want, like I say this all the time, this is my job now. And it feels very, very weird to say that. And I've been doing this job for 4 years, and this isn't about me. This is me saying how grateful I am to you guys, especially now while these things are going on. I got laid off at the end of December by another job that I've mentioned that I really, really love, and I love everybody there. And it's just a tough time, and I get it. I'm not mad about it. I'm not bitter about that. But I'm reminded how cool just this right now is. I get to talk about wrestling and pay my rent. And I'm just very, very thankful for that every single day. So thank you so much for that. I appreciate that. Stay safe wherever you are. Cover your nose when you're wearing the mask. I saw people outside doing that today. Booger humor back. We got to bring booger humor back, Prateek. John Clark and I will stay up late, and we will wonder if we're getting on the on ramp to WrestleMania and see if that road
tomorrow
is paved. Are you in? Are you pulling out of the road to WrestleMania tomorrow?
Oh, I'm gonna be here tomorrow with my hot takes again. I'm going no matter what.
Oh, get your butter and your syrup. The hot take cakes are flapping at the old John Clark kitchen here. All right.
Hot ones coming tomorrow, dog.
Dog, you're dropping to 7.5 and I'm dog.
I can only hope we get a 7.5 caliber tomorrow.
Oh, John, we've turned so many stupid little inside things with him, critique. And John, you are a pretty steady, straightforward. Here's my opinion. Here's what I think. And then me, I'm just like blah blah blah. Let me shake my arms around like a dumb testosterone muppet. And you are very patient with my bullshit, so I appreciate it.
Patience is important, but
patience is
maybe Orton wear the mask again tomorrow. I love that. I was missing
that. Orton's face is reburned for some reason. Because all that hot fire that Edge gave him. Thank you guys so much. John, you know what to tell them at the end of the show. We've done it all day long, and hopefully you're doing it going into WrestleMania season. I know we're going to get really critical when you're going to spend all this time with us. And Teak got to do it a little bit today, but what's that important thing we're supposed to do?
Just when you're watching the wrestling, you got to enjoy the wrestling.